Hey, and welcome to the show. This is the Bachelor Boy Neutral Network. And if you're just tuning in, I'm here with Bachelor Boy Neutral. And we're here to ask him a couple of questions today on behalf of his album, what he's about, and what he plans to do with his music. I have to say it's an honor to finally meet you. Wow, I can't believe we're actually here. Alright, well, Bachelor Boy Neutral, let's get started. And I'm pretty sure that you're already familiar as to why you're here, right?
Right.
Okay. We just have a couple of questions for you, and man, I'm really interested in knowing what the answers are. I'm pretty sure your fans would be interested in knowing what the answers are, and especially those of you back home that have probably had some questions for them. Well, we've got a 5-question resume, if I can say that, resume type interview for this young man. But anyway, let's get started. But let me first say that we're all glad to have you here. We think it's awesome what you're doing. Me personally, I think that you're really benefiting others. I think that you may go far into that, but I think after you answer these 5 questions, we may be a little better suited to understand what you're all about. But anyway, let's go ahead and go to the first question. First question, Bachelor Boy Neutral. Who is Bachelor Boy Neutral, and why the name Bachelor Boy Neutral?
The reason why I call myself Bachelor Boy Neutral has to do a lot with just my status or where I stand in life. I kind of base it off of as far as my marital status. I guess that's what they call it. Me being just a single man right now, I'm just trying to promote God in all my music, in everything I do. Bachelor Boy Neutral, the whole name, it was just something I kind of thought of. I figured, hey, I'm not married, and it wasn't all about that. It wasn't all about just the marital status thing. It was also just my where I'm at, where I'm at in my life, and you may think it's like a real catchy name, and I think it is too. I really think it's a real catchy name, real good catchy name. But at the same time, it means something to me. It's kind of where I'm at. It's kind of how I came to know God. I didn't have a girlfriend at the time. When I was trying to search in the Bible, searching His Word for the answers, what was my purpose in life, as far as, having those, just those general questions that everyone has about the Bible, what's my purpose in life, who is God, what am I supposed to do, you know what I'm saying, what purpose do I have, and I really take that name, serious. It's something that I admire. I really like it, not just because it's catchy. I really think that people will know exactly who they're talking about when they say Bachelor Boy Neutral. They won't just be like, oh, it's that guy, or oh, it's this guy, or who is that? They'll know who it is.
Wow, I have to say that's pretty interesting. Fans, what do you think? Okay, second question, and here we go. Anyway, alright, I read something on your ReverbNation.com website just a couple of days ago. I think you said something about you not always being called BBN. Excuse me if you don't mind if I call you abbreviate your name for just a second. Just to kind of cut time short. I know we're short on time. Yeah, Bachelor Boy Neutral. You don't mind me saying BBN, do you?
No.
Okay. I just thought, I'd ask you before before I go on. But anyway, but you went by one or two other names. Now here's the question: why did you go by those names? What were they? Why did you decide to change your name for yet a third time?
Well, those names basically. Let me just start off like this. The first name was called Tito 15. That's what I entitled myself. And basically, from that name, it kind of, it meant a lot to me because that was like the beginning of, a lot of things in my life, as far as accomplishments. Not just the music, not just the music that I was, working with, but as far as, just, becoming a young man, with responsibility, as far as, wanting to achieve, you know, the success of, being an artist, just being, in the music, not just for any reason, not just to have my voice to a beat, but to basically achieve something greater, and that was reaching people through my music, and of course, proclaiming God through, through every lyric, Um, but the name Tito 15, Tito 15, of course, many of you probably are probably not familiar with, why I actually call myself that. But the name Tito stood out to me because of it. I basically considered it not an abbreviation. Yeah, I guess an abbreviation. Tito basically stands for too important to overlook, and what that meant for me in my life, basically at that time, was I was basically trying to get through, my teenage years. At least at a very young age at that time, and I felt like, at times I was being ignored, and I mean, we all get that way, we're going to be ignored, at some time or another, but as far as, what I was having to go through, I felt as though I needed to, like, let people know who I am, and not necessarily me, because what I do in my music is, I try to proclaim God, like I said, but I wanted people to remember who I am because of what I was proclaiming. Not necessarily remember me, but as far as what I was proclaiming. And then of course the number 15. The number 15 is not my favorite number. That was just the number that I used because that was the age that I actually started accomplishing things like putting my voice to a beat. I was really excited about that at the time, and I was really excited. I was nearly jumping up and down just to be able to hear my voice on a beat. It was just like that first instrumental, and I was like really excited about it. And and even before that, I wrote a couple of songs or a couple of rhymes, and this was like maybe 2 years. This is back in 2003. When I just started writing lyrics, I was really excited about that. I think I was still in 7th grade. But then of course 2005, that was when I actually started, coming out, putting my voice on a beat, and kind of letting a couple of my friends know what I was doing. Then on the other hand, of course, AR God's Element. AR God's Element, and the reason why I changed my name is because to AR God's Element is because I was older and I was having to go through some enduring times. Of course, teenagers, of course, today they're pretty aware of the things they have to go through. They don't always have that answer right there in front of them, but they know that they're going through something, they're having to deal with something, they're having to put up with something. And at that time, I started to call myself AR God's Element. And the reason why I call myself AR God's Element, number one, is because what it stood for. And AR, of course, stands for after recession. After recession, meaning basically after I've endured my trials, not all my trials of life, well, we all are still going through things, but after I endure those trials at that time, I'll become basically an example of God. Someone who would not only promote Him, but actually set an example, set a good example, to where people would want to, come around and say, "Who is this dude?" He's not just speaking about God; he's actually living the life. He's actually he's not saying one thing and doing another. And I really think that that's kind of why I changed my name. Speaking of both those names, I took both of them serious. I didn't just come up with a name and say, okay, this is what you can call me. I really took those two names serious. And when I changed those names, I had a good enough reason behind to change them. I didn't just want to, I didn't try to confuse people or want to try to confuse people. And of course, not many people knew me anyway, so it didn't really hurt to do that.
Wow. Wow. So you mean to tell me that each of those names meant something to you, huh? Yeah. You actually you titled yourself by those names because you were actually considering yourself as being that particular, or should I say, going by that artistic name at the time because of either endurance or basically the opposition that you were out there facing. Wow, Tito 15 and what was it? AR God's Element, I believe it was. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Okay. Well, that is awesome. I said. So basically, you didn't actually you didn't just call yourself this. You didn't just take up a name and say, okay, look, you can call me this or you can call me that. You actually took into serious thought what you wanted people to call you. That's interesting, because some of these artists they come out and wow, but let's not get into that. I don't want to get off subject. Respect to all those artists that have come out. The music industry didn't work for them, but we want to see it work for Bachelor Boy Neutral, isn't that right, fam? Okay. So anyway, all right, moving on. All right, my third question for you this evening. I see that you chose hip hop as your genre for your music. And we all just want to know, your family back home, your friends back home, us fans here, why did you pick hip hop over any other genre, or genre? Excuse me.
Reason why I chose hip hop over, I'm just gonna say this, over Christian rap or the rap genre, because I believe that through my music I was not only talking about God, I was basically telling my life story. Like those things that I talked about in my music, or that I talk about, in my music, that's 100% real. Those things I actually went through. Those things I actually had to endure, or even now I'm still enduring. I'm having to deal with it. And basically, hip hop to me is something that someone would go and tell their life story about. It's not something that that artist, and including myself, would want to take serious. Not want to take serious, would not want to take for granted. You want people to listen to what you have to say in that, what what in your music. And as far as just being out there and talking about this and that, when it comes to hip hop, you're being 100% real. You're not just out there talking about what you got or what you've accomplished. That's where rap comes in. Rap is where you start talking about your accomplishments. You either you're bragging or boasting, and not out of disrespect, but you're just talking about the stuff that you're accomplished, stuff that you're accomplishing now, what you're doing. But it's only that. It's not what you're having to go through. It's not necessarily talking about how you're having to get those things, in a sense to where you're actually talking about a moment in your life where you're having to deal with certain things to get to that point of accomplishing things. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I see as far as the difference between hip hop and rap. Now as far as Christian rap, Christian rap is where it's more than just you talking about. It's not you're not involving basically your life story, so to speak. You're just basically promoting God to where you're saying, okay, you're trying to encourage people to do God's will, and at the same time, you're telling people how you praise God and how you do things according to God's will. You're trying to uplift people. You're trying to encourage people. And see, and that's what I try to do too. I try to do that as well. But what I try to include is the fact of what I've had to go through to make sure that when I'm going through these things and having had gone through these things, I'm saying, look, here's not just some encouragement, but here's an example. Here's my example to basically say, okay, look, this is God here, and this is my example of how I live for God. It's not going to be just, okay, I'm going to promote God. We should do this. We should do that. No, I feel as if, okay, I'm not the best example, as far as, serving God. But with all due respect, let me show you from, me having gone through the things that I go through and that I've gone through, to basically say, okay, look, not only do you have some encouragement here, but now you also have my lifestyle to back it up. I'm not just saying, okay, let's do this, let's promote God in this way. It's more of a fact that I'm putting myself in your shoes while I'm encouraging you at the same time. And I'm not knocking, other Christian rappers who call themselves Christian rappers. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I bring what I call bringing a little bit more to the table, with all due respect, as far as putting my life in there, what I've had to go through, and things I've had to endure, and on top of boasting about Christ, and I think that that's the difference between hip hop and rap and Christian rap, as far as in general, my thoughts on that.
Bachelor Boy Neutral, I have to say that is crazy. Now, I don't mean crazy in a bad way. I mean crazy like that's cool or awesome.
Yeah, I got you.
Wow, so the difference between hip-hop and rap, in your opinion, based on what you just said, is one is a story and one is, help me out on that.
Yeah, basically hip hop, and just my example, just my opinion. I believe that hip hop is basically a story, your story. It's not just something. It's not something to play around with. It's not something you want people to take advantage of. You want them to sit there and listen and say, look, man, this guy really went through something. Yeah, basically, hip hop to me, it's a story. And apart from that, I feel that rap is like that genre where you go out and you kind of boast a little bit about what you've accomplished. If you say that you found God and here's some encouragement, I think that's what Christian rap is about. And as far as rap being rap the other genre, I think that's more of the things that you gain as far as possessions that you got, things as far as a wife, kids, basically things that you possess.
That is interesting. That right there, that's interesting. I never really knew that. I guess I don't know. I don't listen to much rap or hip hop. Well, let me just say it this way. I'm very selective as to what I listen to as far as hip hop and the rap genre. I know that there's a lot of good artists out there. There are a lot of let me just put it this way, bad reputation, if I may say. But this right here, I believe this is good music. All right, Bachelor Boy Neutral. Man, that's a catchy name. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I could ever come up with something like that. If I was an artist, well, anyway, enough about me. Speaking of names, your album, or is it albums with an S? Let me just ask it in this fashion. I'm trying to figure out the best way to ask you this. How many albums do you have, and what are they called?
Okay, so basically I have, as we speak, I have 5 albums. first one, of course, dating back to 2003 or 2005. No, 2000, and I'm gonna say 2003. I believe 2003 was when I actually started writing lyrics. 2005 is when I actually started recording my voice, to the, instrumentals. But the first one, of course, is called "What I Do," and that one talks a little bit about, you know, um, who I am, what I do, as far as bringing out. Okay, look, you don't know me. This basically is what this album is saying. Is like, you don't know me, and I'm here to show you who I am. You're not to tell me what I am, but I'm here to tell you who I am. And the next one basically is called "I Am What I Am," and that one basically stood out to be more of an album where it's talking about some of the things I went through as a young teenager, being in high school, and some of the things that I saw on television, war, all that stuff. Some of the things, just having to just opening up to the world at that point. Not just putting my voice to a beat, telling people what I do, but basically saying, okay, I am what I am. This is not like I'm just doing this. I'm not doing this to have fun. This is something that I personally take serious. And then of course my third album is called "This Thing Called Life," and that was a point where that was a time in my life where I was basically being thankful. I was realizing a lot of stuff. I see on television. I see out in the world. I see people doing things they shouldn't be doing. I mean, you see that kind of stuff. If you've been out in the world, and of course we all have, you see stuff that is not. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing all the time. So at that point, that's like my the point where I realized a lot of things in life about life. So that's why I called it "This Thing Called Life." The fourth album is called "Dear God," and basically it's called "Dear God" simply because it's basically a prayer. It's basically an album of prayer. I mean, every song in there was very heartfelt, and of course, each of my albums are, I put a lot into them. I put just about everything I could into them. But this particular album was basically about, prayer. I mean, it was about me praying to God. It was about me helping me get through these trials that I'm facing, or that I have faced. And even now, I still am appalled at that whole album, because that really to be in pain at that point in my life, and then to bring out an album like that, it takes a lot, because at that point, when you're in pain and you don't want to talk about things, you don't want to talk to anyone about it, you don't even want it to be brought up. But at that point, I said, you know what, I'm gonna write this album, and I'm gonna do my best on it. I feel like that at that point, that was my best album, and I really thought long and hard on it. Not as far as what to say, because how I felt. That's what I wrote down. I did that to every one of my songs. And then of course my fifth album, which is my latest album, it's called "Live Free, Die Free." That was more. I entitled that "Live Free, Die Free" because at that point I came to see that the accomplishment now that I was to receive was freedom. And it wasn't just because I hadn't been followed. It wasn't. I'm sorry. Let me say that right. It wasn't because I wasn't following God from the get-go, but now it came to a point in my life where I said, okay, there are some things here I need to let go. There are some things that I'm holding on to that God is not going to approve of, and I need to let these things go. I'm still holding on to God, even to this day, and I always will. I just I just realized, I recognized, I said, okay, look, there's something here that's stopping me from giving a complete, not necessarily day of devotion, but a complete time of devotion to God. I said, okay, there's some things here, some obstacles I need to move out the way. So at that time in my life, writing that album, I was going through some things, man. I was dealing with a lot. Um, just as far as personal problems, as problems with family and friends, things like that, which I won't go into much detail because it's not like I'm having an issue with with certain people in my family. No, nothing like that. It's just you get what I'm saying, right? But those those things I really recognized, writing this album, that latest album. So yeah, basically what I do, the first one, I Am What I Am was the second one. This Thing Called Life was the third one. Dear God was the fourth one, and my latest album is Live Free, Die Free.
Whoa. So you mean to tell me that you have 5 albums? But wait a minute. Wait. Time out. Some of us here barely are getting to know you for the first time. So you mean to tell me that you've actually been here since 2003?
Yeah, I have. I have been here since 2003. I know it seemed like it's like impossible that I've been here that long, but that's when I actually started. That's when I saw that music was going to mean something to me. And not only was it going to be just the fact that it was music, the fact is that I could tell the whole world, and I'm not just talking the United States of America, I'm talking about the whole world, every nation of every nation and every creature on God's green earth. I was going to say, okay, look, I'm going to be able to tell the world about God, not just in my own church, not just in my own home, not just in my own neighborhood, not just in my own city or my own state, or my own continent. I was going to be able to tell everybody, and I was really excited about that. But yeah, it's to say that my career has basically I've had my career for basically 10 years now. Yeah, that you're right about that. I mean, that is true. I've been out since 2003.
After that, I'm gonna have to just pause for a moment. Everyone, moment of silence, not minute of silence, just a moment of silence. All right, Bachelor Boy Neutral. If you don't mind, and if the fans at home and here on the show, your show, Bachelor Boy Neutral. If you don't mind, I'm going to ask you a question off the book, so to speak, but it is going to, still fall in line with the questions that I have for you tonight. This question basically it's one of my personal questions for you. How long have you been doing this? You said that Live Free, Die Free is not your first album. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, and can you tell us I guess let me see here. Let me see how to word this. Can you tell us and the folks back home a little bit about yourself? Oh, and be sure to tell us where you're from. And pardon me, that I'm sorry. I just want to ask you this question here.
That's all right.
So anyway, yeah, just tell us a little bit about where you're from, and just a little bit about yourself. Nothing too personal, but just kind of share with us on that.
Well, basically, I'm from Los Angeles, California, namely Long Beach. I'm going to say Long Beach because that's basically where I was raised for about 2 to 4 years. But basically, Long Beach, Los Angeles, California area. Grew up around there for a couple of years, and since then I've gone back and forth. And I don't know. I guess the first thing I could say about myself is that I really enjoy the music. I really enjoy doing God's word. I really enjoy promoting His Word through my music, and going forward on on the basis of where I live. After 4 years old, I moved down here to Midland, Texas, and stayed down here for a couple years, and like I said, I went back. And all throughout those years, I really had some really fun times. I enjoyed time with family. I enjoyed going to visit family. I used to play a lot of basketball. I don't do too much of that anymore. I don't mind doing it, but of course, things like taking care of yourself come into play. So, but as far as some of the things that I do to occupy my time, of course, one of those things is reading my Bible. Reading my Bible, making sure I stay up to par with it. I don't just fall in line with with any old thing. I make sure that I read it, make sure that I understand it. If I don't understand it, ask questions. Ask God for help and understanding. Of course, with His Holy Spirit to help me understand what His Word is talking about. And that's one of the interesting things about the Bible is the first time you read a verse of Scripture, you may not understand it. Next time you read it, you may fully understand it. And I think that has a lot to do with God's Holy Spirit. And of course, Jesus Christ coming into my life at a very young age. My grandmother, she took good care of me. Even at the early age of 5. Taking me in, as far as, my dad and, my mom, they've been there, they've been there when, especially in times when my grandmother couldn't be, and, sad to say, my grandmother, passed away around the time that I was age 15, but, bless her heart, but she really, I believe that she really helped make the man that I am today, she was really like that anchor, for making me become who I am today. Showing me about the Bible and who God is, what He's about, what His Word has to do for me. And of course, like I said before, I had some questions, some personal questions. Later on in life that they came up. They hadn't even came up yet because I was not of that age to realize, oh wow, why is this the way it is? Why is that the way it is? But throughout the years, I think that my family has had a lot to do with encouraging me to hold on. And in this life, man, there's so many temptations. You don't know where to start. You don't know where to turn to. So I really thank God for my family on that. Whether I'm not gonna say my family did the whole thing 100%, but I tell you they have really contributed to the young man that I am today. And I really appreciate everything they've done, and of course the few friends that have stuck around and a few friends that I've lost. If it had not been for them having come and gone, hey, where would I be? The encouragement, where would I be? So. I really thank God in everything that I do from that time up until now.
Wait, one more moment of silence. I know. Yeah, but really, one more moment of silence. Did you hear what he just said? Ladies and gentlemen, this guy is already a legend. I mean, OMG. And who says that anyway? I say that. Do you guys say that back at home? Well, I'm sure you do. Let's give him a round of applause for that. I mean, what do we think on that, fans? That is really great stuff, BBN. Can we, you don't mind if we call you that? I know that may seem a little annoying. I know I've asked you already. I guess, a little bit, I don't know what the word is. I just want to make sure for certain that you're okay with me calling you BBN for sure.
Yeah, that's fine, man. That's fine.
Okay. Alright, just checking with you. Anyway. Alright, so our final question. Let's see here. Okay, here it is. Wait, before I ask you this question, I must recall that you mentioned God, family, and some personal things about yourself. So, think about these things as I ask you my last question for now. Alright, fifth question, last but never least, your music. What kind of inspiration do you want to become for kids, adults, all of those back home, friends and families, friends and your family, here and far, far away?
Well, the inspiration I want to, leave for kids, families, friends, fans, is I want to be a good example. I want to be someone who inspires you, not because of me, not because of what I do, but because me having done those things and me having left what I would consider here is a legacy, so to speak, because it has to do with my life. Um, I want to leave a reminder of who God is, with each and every one of you. It's not something that I want you to say, oh, well, I remember Bachelor Boy Neutral. No, it's because it's not about me, not at any given time. It's about God. And that's why I'm doing this. If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be doing this. There'd be no purpose for me to do this. I wouldn't enjoy it. Now I could go and I could talk about all these other things, there's no problem talking about other things. But, what I say on that is let's put God in our music. Let's not forget about God. And it doesn't matter what genre of music that you do. You can promote God in any genre of music that you do. But let's not forget about the purpose here, why we're here. And for those who don't know why they're here yet, may God bless you. May God, keep you and help you to understand what your purpose in life is. Maybe it's through your music. Maybe it's through your art. Maybe it's through, your good example of just being there for somebody all the time. Because somebody else is going to see that. They're going to say, wow, this person has a good heart. This person has what it takes to, be of an encouragement to me, in my life, And I just that's the kind of inspiration I want to leave each and every fan. I could be here today and gone tomorrow. I could live today and die tomorrow. But I don't want you to come meet me and not basically focus your mind more on what God has to offer, because what I'm offering is what God has to offer. I don't want to be offering anything other than that. Now I may talk about my life as far as promoting what I had to do to get to God, what I've had to do to make sure I stay with God, but as far as it being about me, no, at no time is it about me. I mentioned that one song, Tall Glass of Water. It's not 100% true, but the reason being is because the things that I say in my verses on that song, the Tall Glass of Water, is entitled TGOW, is not because it's actually fake. It's just for the fact that those actual moments where I was talking to like a person, on a customer service line, no, that didn't really happen. Now, of course, everyone has probably talked to someone in customer service about a problem and they didn't quite hear them. But that actual song, I would say, is probably, it's really just something that I came up with as a good idea to say, based on that song is, are you listening to me? Are you listening to what I'm saying? Am I having to repeat myself? And even then, there were times when Jesus had to repeat himself, because the disciples didn't understand something, but he wasn't impatient with them. He explained it to them. And maybe that tall glass of water in that dictionary may work out for some spiritually, because but that's not an issue. Everyone doesn't have a full understanding just because you explain it one time. Some people need an explanation 1, 2, 3 times, maybe 1,000 times. But when it comes to the Bible, I feel like if they have to understand it after the 50th time or the 50,000th time, you should be there ready and willing to give them an answer, a Bible answer. But anyway, as far as my goal, one of the goals I want to, achieve in music, one of them most of them, I believe, I've already achieved. I'm really not trying to, get out there in the music industry and, showboat, say, look what I've got, or look what you don't have. No, it's not about that, because it's not about me. But I think the one goal that I'm trying to go for now is just being that ultimate producer. I feel like I've done quite well as far as an artist. Of course, you being the fans, I feel that, you guys are the ones that are going to make the artist. And I'm not going to say make or break as far as financially, but as far as, leading to my success. And what is that success? Letting you know who God is 100%. 100% of the time. I feel that, that's where I want to be, an ultimate producer. And what I mean by ultimate producer is someone who can basically say, you know what, I need to make an album, and I need some pointers, I need some encouragement. You seem to have that kind of a background. I need some encouragement. Can you help me to write this down? How do I say this in an expressive way where it draws people in, but it doesn't lead people away after that, So, I want to be there for that person who, needs help, as far as music-wise, but more importantly, spiritually. I want to be there for that person in a spiritual sense, because if I'm there for that person in a spiritual sense, that person may or may not count on me when he needs something in a physical sense. Like, say, for example, help with some pointers on music, that kind of thing. So, I just feel like, that's kind of why I'm here, to be an encouragement in that sense.
Bachelor Boy Neutral, I have to say that I have really enjoyed your answers on tonight. I'm really inspired by what you're doing here. I'm really glad that you invited me to the studio, and I think it's with great honor and prestige that you're going to make it far. And I believe in all that you do. You're going to be a blessing to someone, if not already. And I just want to say this. I believe you. I believe in you. We believe in you. And I'm sure that those watching are being inspired by your words of wisdom. Well, I know it looks like we're a little short on time. Matter of fact, just on time. But anyway, we hate to see you go. I really, like I said, it's been an honor. It's been a privilege to come by and learn a little bit about yourself. I'm sure the fans at home really appreciate it. I'm sure your family is probably smiling as we speak. Anyway, wish we had more time, but until next time, ladies and gentlemen, Bachelor Boy Neutral.